In August 1944, just over 2 months after the air and seaborne landings in Normandy, the Western Allies assembled a second invasion force to land on the southern coast of France under the codename of Operation Dragoon. Forming part of this force was an ad hoc unit designated as the 1st Airborne Task Force, which consisted of the British 2nd Parachute Brigade, 6 American glider and parachute battalions, and an assortment of American support units. In regards to the 2nd Parachute Brigade, their task for Operation Dragoon was to drop behind enemy lines near the village of Mitan and establish a defensive screen in the area to disrupt the movement of German forces towards the coast. 3 hours after the brigade was planned to drop, the main invasion force, centered around 3 American infantry divisions, was to land by sea on the section of coastline running from Cavalier-sur-Mer in the west to Theil-sur-Mer in the east. Once a beachhead had been created, the seaborne troops were to then push inland and link up with the paratroopers. With this plan in place, the 2nd Parachute Brigade underwent a rigorous training program throughout early 1944 in preparation for the assault. In mid-August, this program was concluded, and on the 14th of that month, the brigade assembled at 3 airfields around the Italian capital of Rome. That night, the British paratroopers carried out their final briefings and equipment checks before embarking onto American-crewed C-47 transport aircraft and taking off for Operation Dragoon. Spearheading the brigade's assault were the pathfinders of the 1st Independent Parachute Platoon, whose war diary records. The platoon was subdivided into 4 teams. 3 teams to drop ahead of main force to home them to drop zone area, 1 team to drop with brigade headquarters as reinforcement for the platoon. The platoon, 3 teams, took off in 3 Pathfinder aircraft from Marsigliana Airfield at 01:20 hours on the 15th of August. Platoon dropped at 03:34 hours as scheduled. At the time of drop, there was a very thick ground fog which made the pilot's task extremely difficult. The platoon was, however, dropped accurately on drop zone area. Great difficulty was experienced in reassembly owing to the fog and the unexpectedly close country, vineyards, thick hedgerows, and numerous trees. The first part of the brigade drop was scheduled for 04:54 hours, which allowed the platoon approximately 80 minutes. In this time, the platoon succeeded in getting a proportion of the force together and moved roughly 1.5 miles across country to the approximate selected area, where a skeleton T was erected and 2 Eureka beacons erected by 04:20 hours. Triggering was heard almost at once. The brigade commenced dropping as scheduled. As planned, the main part of the 2nd Parachute Brigade began to drop into southern France just before 0500 on the 15th of August 1944. Surprisingly, the brigade encountered no German anti-aircraft fire during the fly-in and was thus able to drop behind enemy lines without opposition. By 06:15, brigade headquarters had successfully formed up on the drop zone and set up a base of operations in the village of La Mitan. An hour later, the 6th Battalion of the Parachute Regiment reported that the majority of its men had landed in good order and that the bulk of the battalion had assembled at its pre-arranged rendezvous point. However, the 4th and 5th Battalions of the Parachute Regiment were not so fortunate. During their landings, both units experienced a scattered drop, with around 80% of the 5th Battalion, together with the 4th Battalion's headquarters and A Company, landing 10 miles north of the designated drop zone in the area of Calas, Fayence, and St. Paul-en-Foret. The war diary for the 5th Battalion details. As far as this unit was concerned, the only planes that managed to drop their sticks on the correct drop zone were the ones that had left from Galera Airfield. Those based on Campino Airfield dropped the bulk of the battalion in the wide area Fayence, St. Paul-en-Foret, Calas. Major Ralph McCall, in command of B Company, found his party intact on the correct drop zone, and realizing that the remainder of the battalion had been dropped wide, he took his force to La Mitan to act as a defense for brigade headquarters. Meanwhile, the bulk of the battalion had now started to work their way south from their wide drop. Although its headquarters and A Company had been misdropped, the remainder of the 4th Battalion landed in close proximity to the designated drop zone, and by 0700 these paratroopers had formed up and were moving off to capture their first objective, a feature known as Point 113.5. Carrying out this advance was the battalion's B Company, which secured the point after a brief engagement with a handful of enemy soldiers. Soon after, the Germans mounted a counter-attack in the hopes of retaking the feature, but B Company held its ground and repelled the enemy advance without sustaining any casualties. With point 113.5 firmly in British hands, the 4th Battalion C Company was passed through at around 0900 to capture the bridge across the River Lenartaby at the village of Lesser. This move proceeded as planned, and by 1000 the company had seized the bridge intact and was pressing on to its next objective, which was the clearance of Lesser itself. Here the Germans were dug in strength, and it wasn't until early afternoon on the 15th that C Company declared the village secured. Meanwhile, over in 6th Battalion's sector, B Company moved in and cleared La Motte at 0845, with the British paratroopers finding the village to have been abandoned by the German army. Simultaneously, C Company attacked a set of buildings known as Klastron, where it captured 86 German soldiers for the loss of 1 man. B and C Companies then consolidated their positions for the remainder of the day, whilst A Company pushed out in the afternoon and cleared the area to the north of La Motte. During this move, the company encountered very minimal enemy resistance, and by 1800 it was taken up a defensive position in the hamlet of Les Cottes. By that time, the first groups of paratroopers who had been misdropped that morning had begun to reach the brigade sector, including the 5th Battalion's headquarters and C Company, both of which joined up with their B Company at Les Mitan and assumed a defensive position to the north of the village. That same evening, the glider-borne element of the 2nd Parachute Brigade arrived, with the war diary for the brigade's headquarters noting, "In the evening, the Horsa gliders landed on the brigade landing zone, having been delayed by bad weather. By 2000 hours, the brigade artillery was in fair strength, 64th Battery having 10 guns in action, 300th Anti-Tank Battery having 12, and the Mortar Company having 2 platoons in action. Large numbers of prisoners had been taken, all original objectives achieved with very slight losses, and D-Day ended on a quiet note. It was a quiet night with our patrols active, but little or no enemy activity." As morning dawned on the 16th of August, more of the misdropped paratroopers rejoined the brigade. Most notably among them were the headquarters and A Company of the 4th Parachute Regiment, which linked up with their B and C companies in the area of Lesser at around 0800. That same morning, the 2nd Parachute Brigade received the news that the American seaborne landings on the French southern coast had been successful, and that ground troops were advancing inland to link up with the paratroopers. On receipt of this information, the 4th Battalion's B Company captured a factory on the outskirts of Les Mouilles at 1300. From here, the company exploited to the east and seized intact a bridge spanning the River Londres, where it dug in for the night and prepared to receive the arrival of American ground troops. This eventually took effect the next morning on the 17th, as the war diary for the 4th Parachute Regiment records. 0700 on the 17th of August, forward elements of 36 US Division passed through B Company, then through the village of Les Mouilles. Following this link-up, the American 36th Infantry Division moved through the British lines and began relieving the paratroopers of their front-line responsibilities. As this relief was taking place, the 5th Battalion pushed out patrols to confirm civilian reports that German troops were moving along the east-west road 8 kilometers north of Les Mitan. One such patrol was led by the battalion commanding officer, Lieutenant Colonel David Hunter, who led a 6-man patrol to a crossroads called Le Quatre Chemins, from where he observed a large enemy column approaching in the distance. Immediately, the Lieutenant Colonel ordered his men to take up firing positions on the roadside, and in the words of the 5th Battalion's war diary, the Germans were now approaching the crossroads. An ambush was laid, and the enemy, preceded by scouts, were attacked at point-blank range. A firefight ensued, and the enemy then took up defensive positions around the crossroads. As the commanding officer's party was obviously outnumbered, the party retired, leaving behind 1 wounded non-commissioned officer. Returning to La Mitan at 1400, Lieutenant Colonel Hunter ordered his B and C companies to advance north and secure the crossroads. Accordingly, B and C companies deployed out that afternoon and soon made contact with the enemy on the objective. After heavy fighting, both companies reported that the Germans were withdrawing and that they were digging in on either side of the crossroads. However, at 1800, the Germans mounted a surprise counterattack against the paratroopers with the aim of retaking the area. Commanding B Company at the time was Major Ralph McCall, whose leadership during this engagement resulted in him being awarded the Military Cross, with his citation detailing that Major McCall's force was counterattacked on 3 sides by over 100 enemy, some making a bayonet charge and supported by mortar fire. In manoeuvring to counter this situation, Major McCall handled his company so skillfully that he was able to inflict at least 20 casualties upon the enemy, destroying at the same time 2 of their vehicles for the loss of only 1 of his own men. At all times during these actions, against what proved unexpectedly to be a determined enemy, Major McCall's personal example and sound judgment contributed greatly to the success achieved. By nightfall on the 17th of August, the German counterattack had lost its momentum and the crossroads became no man's land, with B and C companies in position on its southern side whilst the Germans held the north. Early the next morning on the 18th, B Company observed that the Germans were pulling out from that area and so launched an immediate attack to seize the northern side of the crossroads. This move turned out to be a resounding success, as the company not only captured the crossroads for a second time, but it also took 97 German soldiers prisoner without a single casualty. Following this action, B and C companies remained in the crossroads area until midday on the 18th, when they were relieved by American troops and withdrawn to Les Mitan. By then, the rest of the 2nd Parachute Brigade had also been relieved of their frontline duties, with the 4th Battalion concentrated at Les Serres and the 6th Battalion at Castron. The 2nd Parachute Brigade then stayed here until the 20th of August, when it moved by road to a concentration area near Freyus. Here, the 6th Battalion, together with A Company from the 4th Battalion, took over a section of the front line just south of the village of La Plainstelle. Whilst holding this new sector, A Company of the 4th Battalion deployed a large fighting patrol, with the unit's war diary recording. At 19:15 on the 20th, a patrol consisting of officer commanding A Company, 2 officers, and 40 other ranks swept valley in front of company positions, reported by civilians to be patrolled by enemy. 3 platoon was sent to investigate a house, and whilst there, a party of enemy, 1 non-commissioned officer and 2 men turned up. The non-commissioned officer was shot and the 2 men taken prisoner. For the 2nd Parachute Brigade, this patrol was its last military action in southern France, for on the 21st of August, A Company and the 6th Battalion were pulled off the front line and returned to the brigade's concentration area near Freyus. The brigade then remained here until the morning of the 26th of August, when it moved to Freyus harbour, embarked onto troop ships and set out on a return voyage to Italy, eventually disembarking at Naples on the 29th of August 1944.